Thank you, Jen. President Biden did not mince words today. It was quite clear who he was talking about. He blamed former President Trump, as Darlene just said, directly for inciting the attack on January 6th. And I wonder why he made the decision not to call him out by name.
Well, Kristen, I know the president spoke to this himself, but I would say there's only one president in the history of this country who fomented an insurrection, and which prompted the seizing of our nation's capital. I think everybody knew who he was referring to. But as the president said today, this day and the work that we need to do moving forward is not about one person. It is about the country reflecting on who we are in this moment, who we want to be moving forward, and what steps we need to take to protect our own democracy.
And on the point of the former president, he did respond to President Biden's speech, and he called it, quote, political theater. What is your response?
Well, it looks like he saw the speech. I guess that's good news. Maybe he learned something about what it looks like to meet the moment in the country, to meet the moment where people are hurting. They're thinking of the pain, all of the people who worked in that Capitol, who were there a year ago, whether they were members of Congress, their staff, janitors, or journalists, and to speak to who we can be and call for people's higher powers to reach that. Maybe he learned something from that. I guess we'll see.
About the big picture today, Jen, which is that most of the people who attended these ceremonies today were Democrats. There were some Republican lawmakers. You do have this pushback from the former president and from some of his supporters, and polls show that there are still a number of Republicans who believe that the election was stolen from the former president. Does President Biden feel as though he's done enough to unify the country? And what more does he need to do, given the sharp divides that we still see on display today?
Well, I would say, Kristen, that I don't think calling this the events of today a partisan issue or suggesting that we have reached a partisan point is doing justice to the tens of millions of Republicans, independents, and others out there who don't feel that way. We're talking about some Republicans in Congress, not all, many, far too many, who, in our view, in the president's view, need to take a look at themselves and think about what role they want to play in the history books. When their children and grandchildren look at the history books, do they want to be perpetuating the big lie? Do they want to be walking like silent lemmings behind the former president and who fomented an insurrection? Or do they want to be part of saving our democracy? So the question really should be directed at them, and that's our view.